Hey guys, quick video today. New ESP and LTD models have sneakily been announced. Let's talk about them. We're not talking about Gojira Joe teasing that he potentially left Charvel to join ESP because nothing is confirmed yet. It's just an Instagram post and his models are still up on Charvel's website. But so ESP dropped less than 30 new 2023 models if I've counted correctly, which for most brands would be a lot. It's not a huge amount for ESP though. Now, we've talked about ESP's 2023 situation before. They got super wrecked by the global health event and related supply chain to the point where their 2022 models are just now coming in stock. Sweetwater is even treating them as brand new models. So if you've ever wanted something like the Silverburst Evertoon Phoenix, you can finally get one in theory. But even with that backdrop, that hasn't stopped ESP from keeping things rolling. Let's talk about the signature models first. James Hetfield's Vulture now officially comes in Olympic White. It's been one that's been teased for a while. You can finally buy them now though. There's a $1,600 LTD version or a $5,700 made in Japan ESP version. Comes with a hard case and James Hetfield's signature EMG headset, same specs as the Vultures that have been available for years, but now with way more kill 'em all energy since Gibson still refuses to do an Olympic White Hetfield V. Why? Why the fuck aren't you doing it, Gibson? Javier Reyes has a new signature, the LTD JRV8. It's cool, metallic gold HSS 8-string, extended range HSS is generally pretty unusual. There are only a couple of 7-string HSS models I can think of, but off the top of my head, I cannot think of any other production HSS 8-strings out there. 27-inch baritone scale length, Fishman Fluence pickups, including Javier Reyes' own signature bridge humbucker. Alder body, 5-piece maple walnut bolt-on neck, Floyd Rose 1000 SE, so that's the one that's got upgraded parts. Price tag of $24.99 though. That's pretty damn pricey for an LTD, even more so than his carved top signature, which I always thought looked sick. Although, in fairness, what are your other options for a premium production 8-string HSS? Norgal Behemoth has 2 new signatures, the higher-end Hex 6 and the more affordable Hex 200. Weird how the numbers work that way. Symmetrical V-shape with a Horizon-style 3-a-side headstock. The Hex 6 has direct-mounted Fishman Fluence moderns, neck-through construction, and a Makasar Ebony fingerboard. The 200 has a bolt-on neck and a roasted Jatoba fingerboard. I mean, these are metal guitar ass looking metal guitars. Then for years, Gary Holt has had very identifiable Eclipses, and so they've taken his signature aesthetic, like the split block inlays, the red body and fingerboard binding, and applied it to a V. Mahogany body with a maple cap, neck through construction, Grover tuners, and his signature red EMG set. An 81 in the bridge and an 89R that can do single coil sounds in the neck. And unlike a lot of the other signatures we've been talking about, Gary Holt actually has stainless steel frets on this one. I mean, again, metal guitar ass looking metal guitar, but that hellish look with the metal outline, you gotta love it. Stephen Carpenter has some pretty whack ideas, from flat earth to a bridge and middle pickup combo being a good idea. But the dude always has had great taste in baritone guitars, and so the SCT 607 in green sparkle has been discontinued, replaced with a plain black version. 27-inch baritone scale length, his signature Fishman Fluences. It's also been given a $300 price hike, which is a concerning trend for ESP this year, it has to be said. New Volsong 200. It's an affordable version of Lars Fredriksson of Rancid's signature. Roasted Jatoba fingerboard, ESP LH150 pickups with covers to look like his signature EMGs, and his interesting volume tone control layout. My favorite new signatures though are Bill Kelleher's new BK600 and Sparrowhawk, which now come in a gorgeous aged Silverburst color. Now, the original BK600 is still one of my favorite LTDs, one of my favorite modern single cuts of all time. Full thickness, cool color, hot as fuck lace pickups, and my favorite thing was the fingerboard. For whatever reason, pretty much all LTDs have a 14-inch fingerboard radius, which is slightly flatter than the 12-inch radius that ESP uses. The BK600 though has a 12-inch radius, which makes it feel so far the closest any LTD has to my ESP Eclipse. And now that it comes in aged Silverburst, too fucking cool. It also comes equipped with Bill Kelleher's new signature Mojo Tone Hellbender set, which from the name I'll assume do the chugga chugga thing fairly well. They've aged nickel covers, they look great with the aged silver burst. I wish they could have found a way to age the rest of the hardware to match as well. But yeah, even the back of the BK600 has the proper silver burst pattern. And honestly, this is a really solid alternative to the Gibson Adam Jones Les Paul Standard. Over $1,000 less. Yeah, it doesn't have the nitro finish, but it's got the locking tuners. It's got the awesome set through neck joint for upper fret access. And again, they've even silver bursted the back. The AJ Standard is just black, and I've always compared Gibson's 70s neck shape to ESP's Thin U, so this might arguably feel closer to a 70s custom than even the Gibson does, because that has a larger rounded neck for some reason. The Sparrowhawk, I wasn't as big a fan of, mostly because unlike the BK600, it doesn't have the 12-inch fingerboard radius. It's kind of based around a non-reverse Firebird. It does have the new pickups though, and the new color looks fantastic, even if it is on a kind of ugly ditto-ass shape. Now, all the signatures are gonna catch most of the headlines, but the bigger news, in my opinion, is that for years, the biggest criticism about E2 is that while all the other modern brands have been trending towards stainless steel, they've been stubbornly sticking to classic high-quality nickel silver. The criticism only increased in volume after LTD started throwing them on all of their 1000 series guitars. Well, now everyone can calm down, because for 2023, E2 is going stainless steel. All the newly announced E2 models have stainless steel frets. Finally. No word from ESP whether or not they'll retroactively update all their previous year models as well, but at least the 2023 models are confirmed. And actually, all of the E2s this year are super modern. On the Eclipse front, we've got new colors in Tiger Eye Sunburst and in see-through Black Cherry Sunburst, both with direct-mounted Fishman Fluence moderns. Charcoal Burst 2, which adds a Floyd Rose, an original for anyone who still hasn't forgiven Jackson for putting a 1000 on their American Series soloist. It's even an SE variation, so upgraded stainless steel parts as well. And usually it's LTD that are inspired to make affordable versions of the more popular E2s. This time, it's the other way around. Full thickness, ever-tuned, Fishman Fluence Classic equipped Eclipse. I love this guitar so fucking much. It's arguably the perfect modern single cut. Satin neck, set through neck joint, and the way ESP finds a way to put the cleaner F model Evertune on the guitars instead of the Mickey Mouse eared version on most Gibsons. And with the gold saddles too, chef's kisses all around on this one. And the Arctic Metal series is making its way up to the E2 line as well in the M1 through NT in Snow White. What an awkward name, but it's super fucking simple. Single direct mounted Fishman Fluence modern, one push-pull volume knob to switch voices, as few things as possible standing in between you and the chugs. What else do you need? Love the bare maple neck as well. Kind of in the same vein, the M2 neck through in Snow White. Again, there's that Floyd Rose original SE. I think it would have looked cooler with white fluences instead of black though, for more of that Arctic Metal vibe. The other M2s have more eye-catching finishes, Black Natural Burst with the Floyd Rose original, and a fantastic Mercury Blue Burst, both with battle-worn bare-knuckle Aftermath pickups. E2's new SN3 HT and Tiger Eye Sunburst has a reverse headstock, anodized pickguard, Fishman Fluence HSS, and now it finally has scalloped frets from 15 to 22, just like the LTDs have done for a couple of years now. New Arrow in Nebula Blackburst, Fishman Fluence, Floyd Rose Original SE. You seeing the pattern here? And finally, the E2 Viper in see-through Black Cherry. Looks like your traditional SG, but nah. Fishman Fluence Classics, set through neck joint, go to locking tuners, and extra jumbo stainless steel frets. I love that from ESP. A beast of a guitar in disguise. And for 2023, LTD isn't being left out either. They're going hard with the Evertune models. They've got an MH1000 in a super 80s candy apple red satin, and a TE1000 in charcoal burst, both with Fishman Fluence moderns. Very nice. Another candy apple red satin guitar in the M1000 with a Floyd. And lastly, an EC1000 in woodland camo satin, which I wish I could tell you more about, but I don't know. Where is it? I can't see it. Ah, oldest dad joke in the book. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't f with camo, but let's find something positive to say about it. Finally, a guitar you can take with you for all your jungle insurgency operations or something. So I always love seeing what ESP is up to because they're kind of a direct indicator of where modern guitars are going for the year. Once they start adopting features, other big brands tend to follow suit. And for a couple of years, on paper, it was LTD leading the charge. Really modern finishes, bright colors, natural wood grains, Evertune, Fishman Fluence. E2, the more premium brand, were almost falling behind, but not anymore. This almost seems like a rebirth of E2. And ESP's Japanese factory makes some outrageously good guitars. If you played one, you know what I mean. As fantastic and consistent as LTDs are, Japanese ESPs are god tier production guitars, and now they've got the modern specs to back it up as well. Like that Evertune E2 Eclipse with stainless steel frets, let's fucking go, dude. Something that stands out is that there are no Seymour Duncans, no EMGs in any of the new models, at least not the ones announced so far. They still include them in the legacy models, but you almost have to feel for EMG especially, because for the longest time, ESP and EMG were basically synonymous, the beer and wings of the modern guitar world. And there are a lot of people that write Fishman Fluence off as a fad. But at what point can we quash that narrative? How much more evidence do you need that they are not a fad? Hey, remember when Seymour Duncan launched their active blackouts and the internet was all like, oh, they're so much better and more dynamic than EMGs? Well, what happened to those better active pickups versus what's happening right now with artists and guitar brands adopting Fishman Fluence en masse? And why do you think that is? Just saying. But yeah, I was kind of hoping for scalloped frets on more LTDs, and some of the higher end LTD pricing is getting kind of wild. Like, it's almost in line with E2 pricing in some cases. Crazy. Like, I know supply chain is bad, but to put it in perspective, the BK600 was $799, $899 when it launched, and 5 years later, this new version, $1799. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're great guitars, but fucking wow. But anyways, if you're a fan of modern guitars that have a classic flair to them, like I am, E2 is looking real fucking tasty this year. From a consumer perspective, ESP's production lineup makes a lot more sense now. I forgot the words about what I was saying. But those are just my initial thoughts and reactions. Here's where I'll throw it to you. What do you guys think of ESP's 2023 announcements so far? Let me know what you guys are thinking down below. No sponsor this time, so extra massive shout out to my amazing patrons who make each and every video possible. Their names are up on the screen right now. Consider joining them if you want to support what I do. You can also join as a channel member or pick up some comfy merch. I basically reinvest everything back into the channel, so thank you for helping me make better and better content. Really appreciate you all. Social media, Discord, and affiliate links are in the description. As always, thank you so much for watching. You've been awesome, and I will see you for the next video.